The push for property tax reform hit a roadblock Thursday at the Capitol. House members delayed their scheduled debate on House Bill 2. Speaker Dennis Bonnen told House lawmakers they're working with the Senate on the reform. The Senate adjourned for the weekend a few hours later.
It was clear, I think there was a lot of back and forth between the House and the Senate, and I think the determination was let's give it over the weekend to see if they can come up with something that perhaps can come out of the Senate. We've done our job as a House on House Bill 1 and 3. I don't think it's too much to ask for the Senate to do their job and send us over whatever their version of House Bill 2 is going to be on the property tax rate.
House members plan to take up HB 2 again on Monday. The delay comes right after Governor Greg Abbott, Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick, and House Speaker Dennis Bonnen announced they're backing a plan to raise sales taxes to help pay for property tax relief. Their plan would raise the statewide sales tax rate to 7.25%. Lawmakers would first have to agree to limit future property tax hikes. Then Texas voters would need to approve changing the state constitution to raise the tax. The plan would create billions of dollars in new revenue, but as Yujin Cho shows us, it's making some Texans worry.
Oh God, on a daily basis. I go eat a lot and I shop a lot. I have 2 kids and I'm constantly shopping.
From school supplies to clothes, many people we talk to say they already pay a lot in sales tax. So if that went up,
It's really hard because that's something you have to pay constantly on a regular basis.
Austin Community College professor Stuart Greenfield explained, lowering people's property taxes hurts local governments and school districts. So he can see how lawmakers would want to avoid that.
In fact, sales tax revenue in 2021, according to the Comptroller's Office, is about the same as local school district property taxes.
Economist Angelo told me every 1% increase in the state sales tax on items like this can result in more than $7 billion in new revenue for the state.
We know that property taxes are becoming to a level where some folks are being forced out of their homes. This is a solution to provide property tax relief.
But Greenfield says this idea could hurt the majority of Texas families.
It would turn out that the only group that would benefit from the replacement would be households with incomes above $150,000.
Increasing the sales tax is not the solution.
Yujin Cho for State of Texas.
For some insight into the proposals before lawmakers, we're joined by Dale Kramer, the president of the Texas Taxpayers and Research Association. Welcome.
Good morning.
First off, tell us a little bit about your organization.
We are a nonprofit membership organization, primarily businesses concerned about tax and fiscal policy in this state.
And you've come out in support of this proposal to raise the sales tax and put the proceeds toward property tax relief, but why?
Well, I think there's no question that folks are struggling with their property tax bills. This provides consumers with a choice of am I willing to pay higher sales taxes in return for lower property taxes or not?
How do you respond to the people who say that this plan actually helps the rich and hurts the poor and middle income people?
Well, I think the individual impact is basically going to depend on your own family situation. Do you own property? Do you not own property? Do you buy a lot of things? Do you not buy a lot of things? I think what we want is to make sure that folks understand how the proposal will affect them individually, so that if this is a constitutional amendment and they do go to the polls to vote on it, that they at least vote with as much information at hand as they can have.
You just mentioned the constitutional amendment, you know, that this would be up to voters in the end. Is this going to be a tough sell?
You know, that's a good question. I think clearly at this point the leadership is all out in support of this. We'll find how strong legislative support is for this over the next couple of weeks. But right now I would say this proposal probably has some momentum.
Now, what makes you think that this proposal will get past voters? What do you think it will take to convince them?
I think a couple of things. Voters are going to have to believe that this is actually going to reduce their property taxes. In the past, they've been promised property tax relief that at best has been illusory to them. Back in 2006, we cut school property taxes by 1/3, but there was no constraint on cities and counties, so they raised their taxes, and as a result, property tax bills went up anyway. So I think this time we're looking at two parts of the puzzle. One is constraint, so that whatever whatever relief is delivered is long-lasting. And then the second piece of that is the relief, which is going to involve higher sales taxes.
Now, of course, the House and the Senate have to agree on property tax relief. The House delayed their vote. What are you hoping to see from lawmakers at this point?
Well, I think, as a friend of mine put it yesterday, this was basically a bump in the road, not a roadblock. We will see property tax legislation pass this session, or we'll be back this summer to work on it. Governor's made that very clear. So I think we will see some type of major legislation pass that constrains future tax increases. The question is going to come down to what is the number going to be. I mean, the governor has proposed 2.5%. The House and Senate have previously passed 4% and 6%. As we looked at some of the pre-filed amendments for that bill, most of the focus is on the question of what is that number going to be and how is it going to be calculated.
All right, we'll see if they can come up with the deal.
We'll hope for the best.
Thank you very much.
Not at all. Thanks for being here.